Hey there, it's Jenny, and I am back with a brand new week in my memory planner. I am using the vertical inserts from the Cocoa Daisy planner for this memory planner, and I like to pull them off the discs that I punched the holes for. I'm going to be using several stamp sets and ink pads from Close to My Heart this week. I am so excited. These little leaves, so pretty. Those big bold words, just made for me. And you already know how I feel about the little ink splatters and splotches. I put my photos on a photo collage in the Pick Frame app, and then I printed them on my Canon Selfie. I'm simply using my paper trimmer to cut them apart. Once they're cut apart, they're about 1.5 inches by 2 inches tall, right about there. It's not exact, but it's very similar. That is the size that is working best for me in this particular planner and this particular layout. It took me a couple of weeks to feel really comfortable here with the size, the layout, the photos. I had to do a little bit of trying things, and I am proud to say that I'm very happy. Now I am just distributing the photos to the days of the week where they took place. Now, I will say this is one of those weeks where I am shifting one of the photos just a little bit because it's not really imperative where it goes. That selfie of myself. That's so redundant. That selfie actually was taken on Tuesday, but it's fine to go on Monday. It doesn't matter. It's not telling a particular story. It's just a photo that I'm including a look at what I looked like that week. Now, the rest of them are all staying pretty close to the day that they happened. I'm using the Scotch ATG gun for my adhesive. If you're new here, you would not know this, but I've been scrapbooking for 20 years and I've tried 1,000 different adhesives, and I know they are not all created equal, and sometimes some of them just don't stick very well over time. Scotch ATG, yeah, these aren't going anywhere. All right, so I'm going to first stamp with the Mint ink. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Using the big blotch. I will link up all the stamp sets below. I genuinely am obsessed with them. Like, I don't say that because I'm trying to sell you something. I'm saying that because they are so awesome. And these stamp sets are perfect for using again and again and again. All right, so now I'm going to ink up this happy, it's a brush lettered word using the Archival black ink. I've been very happy with this black ink. It is easy to use, truly a deep dark black, and obviously, as the name would suggest, it is Archival. All right, so I layered those two together and I placed the happy in a vertical fashion instead of horizontally. Now I'm going to use the little row of hearts and stamp that right above the happy. I just wanted that little cluster right there. I think it's so, so pretty. Now this new stamp set, the words and shapes and all of that, is new to me. I've not used it before. This is the first time. And so I am working on figuring out how best to include it in this planner. Like, how can I make them work the best? So over on the right hand side, I'm going to take the word fun and stamp that right there. It's called Candid Moments, and I would say it's just such a staple for memory planning. Obviously, not every week is a great one. Obviously, there are weeks where there are bad things. This actually was a great week, but there are weeks where not all great things happen, but you definitely have weeks that are happy and fun and you do a lot of great stuff. The other bonus is that the stamp set includes a bunch of different patterned circles, which is actually what drew me to the stamp set in the beginning, if you can believe that. So now I've stamped out fun in the mint. Isn't that pretty? Just beautiful. Now in the stamp set there is a little cursive phrase that says so much. So I'm going to ink that up above the fun using the Mink ink pad. Again, Mink is not a color I would have thought that I'd gravitate towards, but you know what? It is like the perfect neutral. It's a cool beige tan color, and it just goes so well with so many different things. I really love it. And like I've told you in the past, these ink pads are amazing. The magnetic aspect, I never have to worry about the lids coming off. Just such a bonus. All right, so now I've scattered those cute little bursts right around that phrase. Didn't that turn out so fun? And I really love that combo, and that the black is just such a dark black and really provides such beautiful contrast. All right, so my second cluster is finished. Now I'm going to begin the third cluster. I'm going to work down in the lower right-hand corner, and I'm going to stamp just this little swath of color on the edge with the mint ink. I put a little sticky note underneath so that I don't get ink on my desk, and I'm not going to use the entire thing. I want it to look like it's falling off the edge of the page. I love it right there. Now I'm going to take the beautiful little stems from the Sprigs and Sentiments stamp set. I'm really only truly interested in the sprigs at first, because I just think they spell spring. And honestly, I think they're going to be great for summer too, when all the green and all the just the world is so vibrant and full of life. Now, I repeatedly stamped those over the little swatch down at the bottom. So cute. Now you can see I'm going to bring the sprig over to the happy cluster as well, because I wanted to sort of carry that theme onto both pages so it was balanced. So I had a little bit on each side. Now there are some label little words in this stamp set as well, so I am inking up with the black, and I'm going to stamp the happy right over all of it. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love how that turned out. Genuinely, like, I'm so excited. Now I'm pulling out my Aloha stars to begin figuring out where I'm going to write the plans and the activities. And I'm going to use this highlighter. It doesn't match Mink perfectly, but it's a solid companion, I would say. And it doesn't bother me, so we're going with it. I am just going to help use this to highlight the different activities. I'm not going to only use this, however. I will also use the label stickers as well. They're just really super neutral and basic and will not compete at all with all of the photos and the stamped elements that I've already included. So I'm just flipping through my collection of them. I'm going to use the ones with the black outline. I pulled out the mint ones as well, but in the end I decided not to use them. There's already enough mint on the layout. It's really meant to be like a fun accent, not a primary color. I had purchased some stickers that were florals that were meant to do the same thing that I'm using the mild liner for, or the highlighter, I'm sorry. And I loved it. Like, I was so surprised that how much I really enjoyed it. And so a few weeks ago, I decided to try the same technique just using the highlighter line. Now, of course, I don't love it quite as much as I love the little florals, but I do still really enjoy it a lot. So it's a win-win. I found a new way to add some color and make the plans stand out a little bit more, but still just using my simple highlighter. The plans art is an integral part of the week as the photos and the decorations. That is part of the story that I really want to tell. And so it's important for me to get these down on the paper. Someday this will not be true. There will not be as many plans and activities that I absolutely want to create, and I probably will stop including those in this. But for right now, we still have quite a few of them that I like to include. So It's definitely the third step in my memory planning process and before journaling. Now, speaking of journaling, I'm going to do something new today. So first, I need to clean off my ink block, or my ink, not my ink, my stamp block. Sheesh. And I'm going to pull off that big little paint spot and ink it up with the Mink ink pad. Now I'm going to stamp it right on Monday at the top next to the photo nestled in there. I can see that there is a large area for journaling, and so that's where I'm going to put a bunch of words about the photo on Tuesday. So first of all, I love that pop of color right there. And then I'm going to also pull out one of the cute little sprigs and ink it up with the black ink this time and put it right close to the photo on top of that little ink smush. Isn't that beautiful? I genuinely can't get enough. I love it so much. Now that's where I will include some journaling over there. But is that enough? I don't know. I got to think about it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another little ink smush. I don't know. And I also think that's what I'm going to call these, is I'm going to call them ink smushes. It just feels right. I don't know. Now, instead of an ink smush, I decided to use one of the little patterned circles from the Candid Moments stamp set. Look how pretty that looks down there. And I'm continuing with the Mink ink trend just so that it feels a little bit fun and cohesive as well on that side of the page. Now over here on the right hand side of the page, I'm going to go back to the good old ink smush and clean it off, and then I will use it for the journaling on the right hand side. The only difference is that I'm just going to use a little portion of it, and I'm going to use the mint ink instead. So pretty, and such a pretty color combo, don't you think? And I'm not going to lie, I'm still really loving that little set over on Monday with the sprig on top of that smush ink. It's just so cute. I love that. I'm going to have to remember that for future use. So now I'm going to draw out my lines. This time I was sort of drawing a blank on what I wanted to say, which isn't normal. I normally have a fairly good grasp on what I want to say. So I started writing with the ruler right there, which I wouldn't recommend because my handwriting didn't turn out very well there. But it helped me sort of get an idea of how many lines I might need. I didn't want to draw more than I had writing for, but I didn't want to do this, which was have to go back several times and add more lines. Now I'll do the same thing down at the bottom, just simply add a few lines for the little bit of information that I would like to include. Because of the ink smushes, I didn't really want to draw the pencil lines right and erase. I wanted to have something a little bit more permanent that wouldn't require so many more working parts, if you will. So that's why I used the black lines this week for the journaling process. Now I'm doing the final journaling block over on the right hand side with that last little smushed ink bit that we did as well. This turned out to be such a fun and simple week, and it was just such a great time to all put together. And it still feels like late spring. It's still very cheerful, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Now, the last thing to do is simply to add the little date stickers, and I'm finished. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks so much, and make it a great day.